apparently Tammy and her family and Andrea had this meet and greet at Little Caesars the other day, and things went south, and now rumors are spreading like wildfire that Tammy and Andrea broke up and they're no longer living together. So I've been seeing in multiple Facebook groups, on the Thousand Pound Sisters Reddit page, people talking about how Andrea and Tammy allegedly broke up. People are saying that Chris went live on TikTok and confirmed that they're no longer together. Here are some pictures from the meet and greet at Little Caesars that Andrea shared. And somebody on Reddit said that Amanda posted a video thanking people for coming to see them at Little Caesars for their meet and greet. And apparently they had tables, and there was a sign that said if you wanted a selfie with Brittany or Chris, that it would cost $20. They said that the other family members brought their own items like glossy photos and t-shirts to sell and autograph for other people. And so I ended up talking to a source. I found somebody on social media who attended the meet and greet and talked about their experience, and what they had to say corroborated what a few other people on social media were saying. So what I heard is apparently they were all selling pictures and autographs. They weren't doing none of this for free. If you wanted to meet face to face with them, you had to stand in line, pay before you met them, and then you got to meet them at Little Caesars. Well, apparently at some point Andrea ended up going outside, and somebody saw Andrea, and I think this is the first meet and greet that Andrea's done. Don't quote me on that, but I haven't seen her pictured at any other meet and greets. So Andrea ended up going outside, and while she was outside, there was fans that saw her, and they go up to her. They're all excited. They're like, "Hey Andrea, can I get a picture with you?" And they started taking pictures with Andrea, and Tammy flipped the hell out because Tammy was like, "What the hell are you doing? We're selling pictures and autographs, so why the hell are you taking pictures with people for free?" And I do kind of understand why Tammy would be upset, because like, what's the point of us even doing this if you're just going to take pictures with people for free? And then other people might feel some type of way because you took pictures with these people for free, but here you are charging me. But it's the way Tammy went about it. I guess Tammy blew the hell up, started screaming, and Chris even got a little mad, but then he got mad at Tammy for blowing up so much. And apparently, according to another person, Chris ended up saying, "Okay, we just won't bring her no more." Here's what someone else said. They said, "So you're telling me that Tammy was yelling at Andrea and the whole family was mad at her because she was talking and taking pictures for free with the fans outside. And good for Andrea for leaving Tammy. You got to be so lost and money hungry to get upset at such a great person doing something selfless." They said Tammy screamed and scolded her at their event at Little Caesars the other day, and all the ones excusing Tammy, "Well, it was because of the meds." That was last year, and we've seen multiple people say the same exact story, that Tammy got all mad at Andrea. I think Andrea is just one of those nice people, and she probably has a hard time saying no, and she's like, "Well, these people support me and they're asking for it." I don't think she probably thought it all the way through when these people were asking for pictures. I don't think she had any bad intentions, but like I said, I can see where Tammy and them were coming from. Someone else said on Reddit, "I saw somewhere that Tammy yelled at Andrea on Facebook. Then Chris said something like, 'We won't bring her next time.'" Obviously, there's no context to who he meant for the next meet and greet. I think he must be talking about Andrea. Like, who else would he be talking about unless he's talking about Tammy for blowing up? If it's Andrea, I think it's not fair to the fans who love Andrea. It isn't all about Tammy. Fans have favorites. You can't control if your girlfriend is more popular than you. From what I gathered is Andrea was sweet to the fans, and people are more attracted to a kind person versus a person who yells around. This girl posted a picture with Andrea from the meet and greet, and she said, "I got to meet the whole crew today in Princeton, Kentucky." Unfortunately, they weren't the nicest. Andrea was absolutely my favorite though, so sweet. And that's awesome that she's still able to be sweet to this girl even after getting yelled at by Tammy. And apparently this girl said that Tammy was being a jerk. She said she was so sweet talking about Andrea, and she said Tammy was yelling at her and Chris was irritated at Tammy for it. So maybe it is Tammy he's talking about, how he won't bring her for the next meet and greet. And that may explain why Amy wasn't inviting Tammy to all her meet and greets that she was doing over the summer. Imagine you go to spend money to meet this family, hoping it's going to be entertaining and somewhat of escape from your chaotic life, and then you just show up at this meet and greet and pay money to get yelled at and feel awkward while you're in the middle of this confrontation between Tammy and Andrea. Like, just save the fighting for afterwards. Like, I can understand taking Andrea to the side, be like, okay, let's go to the bathroom real quick, let's go over here, and just like whispering or maybe texting Andrea and being like, okay, no more going to the parking lot and doing this with Van. Just tell her no more free pictures. I understand that's something that needs to be addressed now so she doesn't continue doing it, but to sit there and continue to drag it out and keep yelling at her about it, there's no reason for that, especially when you're trying to have a meet and greet and Andrea's just likely there to support you. And I guess after this happened, Chris ended up going live on TikTok. I ended up missing the live, but there's a few people who are claiming this is what Chris said. So take this all allegedly. But someone said Andrea is free. Per Chris's TikTok live last night, Tammy and Andrea are no longer living together and the wedding is postponed. Perhaps this is on the heels of Tammy verbally, emotionally abusing Andrea at the meet and greet on Friday evening. I hope Andrea has had the strength to leave toxic Tammy. And then someone posted in a Facebook group, well, if Tammy and Andrea broke up, then why did they just start a business together? And some of you guys may not know about this, but I'm actually friends with Andrea on Facebook. And yeah, her and Tammy just started like this wreath business. I'm sure they're going to do other products too, but they were like making and customizing wreaths, and literally they just started this business last week, and Andrea was just like posting stuff with Tammy, not in the past few days, but like a week ago. They went live showing off all the wreaths that they had made and that they were going to put on their site to sell. And this girl made a good point, like, look, yeah, they may have started a business last week, but this meet and greet was just on Friday and things obviously went to shit, so they could have broken up then and just not taken the business page down yet. Well, someone ended up going into Andrea's comments and asking her the big question, if her and Tammy ended up breaking up, and I thought she wasn't going to address it, but she said, no, the idiots are just saying shit because they bored. But what has been confirmed by multiple people is that they were fighting. So they're still together according to Andrea, but they were definitely fighting like cats and dogs, or at least Tammy was towards Andrea at this meet and greet. Not everyone had a terrible time though. It looks like Amy and Brian, from their pictures, they look like they're having a good old time. And Amy looks good ever since she got her eye surgery. Spoiler alert, she ended up having her eye surgery. She looks so much better. It makes such a big difference. Like, I didn't realize like how crooked her eye really was. I kept having people send me this picture, but I didn't want to post it because I couldn't tell if it was real, because I thought the right picture was AI, because Amy's been using a lot of AI recently. But I saw these pictures from the meet and greet, and you can see here, this is an unedited picture of Amy, and you can see the drastic difference in her eyes since her surgery. Tammy, Amanda, and multiple other family members were spotted at a wedding for Amanda's son. So he ended up getting married, I believe, on Saturday, the day after the meet and greet. And Tammy was one of the bridesmaids. You can see Tammy here in the picture here in the middle. Here are some pictures from the wedding. Congratulations to him. And someone posted on Reddit this throwback picture of the Slayton's mom. You can see their mom Darlene right there, and a lot of people, including me, think this looks like a younger version of Amy. And you see Chris, Misty, Amanda. I wish we could find more toddler pictures or baby pictures of Amy and Tammy, because I've only seen like a few of them. And now I just want to talk about Amy's wedding planner. So she's been getting a lot of backlash because a lot of people felt like she was making some backhanded comments and was making fun of Amy's art that she did. Well, she responded and she said, hello, it's the wedding planner here. A few facts for you. The show is not scripted. They do ask you questions and you can answer however you want. I have figured out that they do not show the sweeter moments, the laughing, the hugs, the goodbyes. You do not see that the detailed planning was not in the month of October. For the one who said a good planner would find Google images, I show ideas, layouts, pictures, actual pieces, and setups all the time. You did not see all the guiding and advice and time spent with Amy and TLC preparing for the wedding. I only take my bride's vision and make it a reality. We took Amy's centerpieces and put together beautiful tablescapes, not pieces from her art show. She did a wonderful job making her centerpieces, and no, it's the truth. I have not had her style centerpiece before, and that's okay. I also am not sure anyone will put as much effort as she did into making what she did. So another true statement when I said I don't think I will again. They're very unique, and that doesn't mean I'm judging or I didn't like them. They were lovely, and they went well with items we added. I did not do the show for free, so she got paid. I don't wedding plan for free. I'm always up for a challenge. I prefer to be challenged. It helps me grow to be better. I was not out of my comfort zone. I speak to brides every day of my life, and they all have their own visions. I felt honored to be her planner. It is TV and cameras are on you, and I'm not used to it. She said after watching the show back and seeing where she used air quotes when she was describing Amy's art, she said, look, I can see where that could be considered disrespectful, and she felt really bad about it and claims that she ended up reaching out to Amy, she apologized, and then she ended up deciding to buy a piece of Amy's art to hang in her own house. She said she told me ignore it all and jumped right to something else. And by the end of the conversation, I'm getting a new piece of her art for my wall. If you, the viewers, could just see it all as it's happening, at the end of the day, Amy was super happy with my services and thanked me over and over. Stay tuned for the upcoming wedding on the last 2 episodes, 9 and 10. Damn, the season's already almost over. This season went by quick. But let me know what you guys think about everything that was shared in the comments below. I really didn't see anything wrong with how the wedding planner was being, but of course, you know, the cameramen are going to try to do and cut and take the scenes that make her look like she's judging Amy as much as possible, because that's what makes for good TV. But let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.